Good evening. How are you doing? It is ultramarine blue like this little box of matches. They're incense matches, so you're meant to let them burn out on their own, and then, it burns like incense. Sorry, I just realized I was whispering. I specifically wanted to do a soft spoken video because of the type of video that I'm doing. So I feel like I tend to whisper, and it's not a conscious thing. It's just that I'm so self-conscious about people hearing me. But then I realize I don't feel that way when I'm talking on the phone, so it's like I'm just FaceTiming a friend, right? Right. So I wanted to set the mood because I am going to be reading from this beauty, Violet, bent backwards over the grass. Look at that. Some beautiful oranges. And this is by Lana Del Rey. I'm just going to be reading some of the poems that I particularly resonated with or just really loved. Honestly, I liked all of them. So, but before I light my match for, our Lana Del Rey Poetry Hour, I am going to be opening up my White Claw. It's a raspberry flavor. I don't think that I really have a favorite flavor. I don't really drink these too much because I am such a lightweight. I wonder if you can hear the fizz. But anyway, I'm going to be drinking that throughout, and I'm going to try to pace myself because I actually want to make sure that this video is relaxing. So I'm going to light one of these. Did I say that this is potpourri scented? Because it is. So I got a bunch of these little scented matches last year before I left the state that I was living in. Oh, I didn't think about where I was going to put this back. Okay, I'm just going to put it in the candle. I don't really think things ahead. Oh god, okay, okay, I probably just edited out me cursing profusely. I'm kind of all over the place tonight. Oops, this is upside down. Okay. So I'm gonna light this candle. It smells so good. It is by, I guess, this is sensational. I'm whispering again. And it's called Storm. Okay, and then this is the description on the label. A refreshing tropical storm containing tangerine, blackberry, and guava finished with sugarcane and a grassy breeze. It smells like, not really, but reminds me a little bit of Dimetapp. Do you recall what Dimetapp is? It's like cold medicine, I guess, that my mom used to give me when I was sick when I was a little kid. And it was the only medicine I actually liked. So I would try to get her to give it to me even when I wasn't sick. And so she told me that if you take Dimetapp while... Oh. Okay. So that's like my mood. And I'm going to put it, where will you see? I'll put it right there by my Buddha head, and you can see it. Okay, can you see the little storm? So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Dimetap. My mom told me that if you took Dimetap when you were not sick, you would die. But yeah, so I've got my candle, I've got my White Claw, No Claw, and let's just dive right into it. Okay, sorry if you just shifted. I have to figure out how to read without looking over the camera, because I also have to put it under the light, as this lighting is not the best for me to be reading, especially like this font. So I'm going to try to show you. So everything is typewritten. So you see it says Violet bent backwards over the grass. Now, I'm not actually going to read you the title poem just because I didn't feel compelled to mark it. So I'm just going to go in order of the poems that I stickied. I need a better place for that because I could totally see myself knocking this over. I'm going to read you the dedication actually, because I really enjoyed the dedication. So it says, dedicated to whomever's worn, warm afternoon hands come upon these pages, wherever you may find them, and that you may remember that the world is conspiring for you, and to act in a manner as such. Oh, I love that. Okay. The very first poem that I want to share or read aloud is called What Happened When I Left You. Perfect petals punctuate the fabric's yellow blue, silver platters with strawberries strewn across the room, and Zimmerman with sandals on, one summer dress to choose. 3 girls, eyes rolled, loud laughter, dust specks lit by afternoon. My life is sweet like lemonade, now that there's no bitter fruit. Eternal sunshine of the spotless mind, no thought of you. My thoughts have changed, my voice is higher, now I'm over you. No flickering in my head movies projected in Bellevue, because I captured the mood of my wish fulfilled and sailed to Xanadu. The grief that came in waves that rolled I navigated through. The fire from my wish is wind to a future trip to Malibu. Now everything I have is perfect, nothing much to do. Just perfect florals, green embroidered chairs, one dress to choose. And then the very next poem I also wanted to read aloud. And this one is LA, who am I to love you? LA, I'm from nowhere, who am I to love you? LA, I've got nothing, who am I to love you? When I'm feeling this way, then I've got nothing to offer. LA, not quite the city that never sleeps, not quite the city that wakes, but the city that dreams for sure, if by dreams you mean nightmares. LA, I'm a dreamer, but I'm from nowhere. Who am I to dream? LA, I'm upset. I have complaints. Listen to me. They say I come from money, and I didn't even have love, and it's unfair. LA, I sold my life rights for a big check, but now I can't sleep at night, and I don't know why. Plus, I love sex, so why did I do that when I know it won't last? LA, I picked San Francisco because the man who doesn't love me lives there. LA, I'm pathetic, but so are you. Can I come home now? Daughter to no one, table for one, party of thousands of people I don't know at Delilah, where my ex-husband works. I'm so sick of this, but can I come home now? Mother to no one, private jet for one, back home to the Tudor house that borne 1,000 murder plots. Hancock Park treated me very badly, I'm resentful. The witch on the corner, the neighbor nobody wanted, the reason for Garcetti's extra security. LA. I know I'm bad, but I have nowhere else to go. Can I come home now? I never had a mother. Will you let me make the sun my own now? And the ocean my son. I'm quite good at tending to things despite my upbringing. Can I raise your mountains? I promise to keep them greener, make them my daughters, teach them about fires, warn them about water. I'm lonely, LA. Can I come home now? I left my city for San Francisco. I'm riding from the Golden Gate Bridge, but it's not going as planned. I took a free ride off a billionaire and brought my typewriter and promised myself I would stay, but it's just not going the way I thought. It's not that I feel different, and I don't mind that it's not hot. It's just that I belong to no one, which means there's only one place for me. The city not quite awake, the city not quite asleep, the city that's something else, something in between, the city that's still deciding how good it should be, and also I can't sleep without you. No one's ever really held me like you, not quite tightly, but certainly I feel your body next to me, smoking next to me, vaping lightly next to me, and I love that you love the neon lights like me, orange in the distance. We both love that, and I love that we have that in common. Also, neither one of us can go back to New York. For you are unmoving. As for me, it won't be my city again until I'm dead. Fuck the New York Post. LA, who am I to need you when I've needed so much, asked for so much? What I've been given, I'm not sure yet. I may never know that either until I'm dead. For now, though, what I do know is that I don't deserve you. Not you at your best, in your splendor with towering eucalyptus trees that sway in my dominion. Not you at your worst, totally on fire, unlivable, unbreathable. I don't deserve you at all. You see, you have a mother, a continental shelf, a larger piece of land from where you came, and I am an orphan, a little seashell that rests upon your native shores. One of many, that's for sure, but because of that, I surely must love you closely to the most out of anyone. For that reason, let me love you. Don't mind my desperation. Let me hold you, not just for vacation, but for real and forever. Grow friends, lover, mother, friend. I adore you. Don't be put off by my quick-wordedness. I'm generally quite quiet, quite a meditator. Actually, I'll do very well down by Paramahansa Yoganada's Realization Center, I'm sure. I promise you'll barely even notice me, unless you want to notice me, unless you prefer a rambunctious child, in which case I can turn it on too. I'm good on the stage, as you may know. You may have heard of me. So either way, I'll fit in just fine, so just love me by doing nothing, except for perhaps by not shaking the county line. I'm yours if you'll have me, quietly or loudly, sincerely your daughter, regardless, you're mine. And what do you know, the next one I also tabbed to share. I measure time by the days I've spent away from you. That thought occurred to me as I watched the sky go dark from blue. And then she wrote blue in like crayon or something, colored pencil. Yeah, colored pencil. I just love looking at this. I love the sky in transition from sunrise or sunset. The best. Okay, the next one I also wanted to read. It's called The Land of 1,000 Fires. 2 blue steel trains run through the tunnels of your cool blue steel eyes. Vernon, rock quarry, the vastness of which has nothing on my beautiful mind. Dylan. I hear Dylan when I look at you. I can see it on my arm in invisible ink like a tattoo. The yin to my yang, the toughness to my unending softness, a striking example of masculinity, firm in your verticality, sure in your confrontation against all elements and duality, the sun to my wilting daisy, the earth to the wildflower that doesn't care where it grows. Vernon. Everything's burnt here. There's no escaping it. The air is fried and on fire. I've never really fallen in love, but whatever this feeling is, I wish everyone could experience it. This place feels like a person familiar, like someone I've stood next to before, but never while I was standing next to you. Thank you for being here, for bearing witness to my vastness. Through the years, I've called you in and out of my orbit, you and your madness, the satellite that's constellating my world, mimicking the inner chaos that I've disowned, a mirror to my past life retribution, a reflection of my sadness. If I'm going to keep on living the way that I'm living, I can't do it without you. My feet aren't on the ground. I need your body to stand on, your name to define me, on top of being a woman. I am scared and ethereal, and there are 7 worlds in my eyes. I'm accessing all of them at once. One to draw my words from and my muses, another one I try and harness late at night that lies somewhere off of the right of Jupiter. And then, of course, there's this one I live in, the land of 1,000 fires. That's where you come in. You, Vernon, Dylan, 2 blue steel trains running through the tunnels of your cool blue steel eyes to guide me far from the world of my early days that I can't quite make out clearly, that beckon me toward high sea cliffs on long car rides, toward a future place, a world unknown to me, made up of something surreal and dripping, flowers and solar systems oversized. You, Vernon, Dylan, no words needed to sponge up the dark nights, no explanation for the globes in my eyes, shoulder to shoulder in the factory light, letting me be who I would have been if everything had turned out all right. 3 alternative endings course through my blood on ice. I thrive because I say I do, and because it's what I write. But honestly, if you weren't here, I don't know what things would look like. That's why no matter what world I'm in, I navigate by satellite. Vernon, Dylan, and you, in your madness, 2 trains running through your cool blue eyes. I am definitely feeling the effects of the White Claw. I'm maybe about halfway through, so this might turn into a video of me progressively getting tipsier and tipsier while trying to read. Maybe not the best idea, but okay. So this next poem is Never to Heaven, and I think she did this for a couple of her poems. She included kind of like a first draft or an earlier draft, and then the final version. So I'm just going to read the final version to you. So again, this is Never to Heaven. May my eyes always stay level to the horizon. May they never gaze as high as heaven to ask why. May I never go where angels fear to tread, so as to have to ask for answers in the sky. The whys in this lifetime I found are inconsequential compared to the magic of the nowness, the solution to most questions. There are no reasons, and if there are, I'm wrong. But at least I won't have spent my life waiting, looking for God in the clouds of the dawn, or listening out for otherworldly contact, 30 billion light years on. No, I'll let the others do the pondering, while I'll be sitting on the lawn, reading something unsubstantial with the television on. I'll be up early to rise, though, of course, but only to make you a pot of coffee. That's what I was thinking this morning, Joe. That at times like this, as the marine layer lifts off the sea from the view of our favorite restaurant, that I pray that I may always keep my eyes level to your eyeline, never downcast at the tablecloth. Yes, Joe. It's times like this, as the marine layer lifts off the sea on the dock with the candle lit, that I think to myself, there are things you still don't know about me. Like sometimes I'm afraid my sadness is too big, and that one day you might have to help me handle it. But until then, may I always keep my eyes level to this skyline, assessing the glittering new development off of the coast of Long Beach, never to heaven or revenant, because I have faith in man, as strange as that seems, in times like these, and it's not just because of the warmth I found in your brown eyes, but because I believe in the goodness in me, that it's firm enough to plant a flag in, or a rosebud, or to build a new life. Alright, the next one is Tessa Di Pietro. I feel like you should be rolling your R's for that, but I cannot roll my R's, sadly. No one ever touched me without wanting to kill me, except for a healer on 6th Street and Ridgely. Tessa Di Pietro, recommended casually by a medium I no longer know. She said my number one problem was my field was untrusting. When asked what to do, she paused and said, nothing, which sent me right into uncontrollable sobbing, because there's never anything you can do about the important things. She said, okay, one thing you can do is picture the floor rising up to support you and sink into the back of the bed that's behind you. Too much of your energy is in front of and above you. Which for some reason made me think of a live show I had seen, Jim Morrison at the Hollywood Bowl, 1968, check date. The blue trellised lights gave him an unusual aura, like a halo or something, made him 8 feet or taller. I remember just thinking, he looked out of his body, but definitely like a god on stage. So I told her, maybe an artist has to function a little bit above themselves if they really want to transmit some heaven. Then she told me, singleness of focus is the key to transmission, for an emphasis on developing inner intuition. Close your eyes and feel where you hold your attention. If it's in the back of your eyes, walk it down to your heart center and make that the new place from which your thoughts enter. Clairvoyance comes mostly from this simple function. Oh, and Jim died at 27, so find another frame of reference when you're referencing heaven. And did you ever read the lyrics to People Are Strange? It made no sense. Yeah, it really does feel like I'm reading every single poem. Okay, this next one is Past the Bushes, Cypress Thriving. I saw you in the mirror. You were wearing your hair differently, carrying the air differently. You say you want your hair long, parted in the middle, long in solidarity, worn for all his women. Long Beach, aimless, your fingers wiping oil on the paper with precision, with decision, like an artist never seen yet with a vision, with a reason, stared with venom at the ceiling, not the grass, but straight ahead, just at the skyline, with precision, laser vision. Time was stopping, moving through you, you dictated by what moved you, only moving, never thinking, much the sun that's slowly sinking at the height of afternoon, in the heat of summer evening, like a phoenix, like a chemtrail, like a wavelength no one's claiming. Georgia O'Keeffe, Georgia Peaches, doing nothing but your painting for forever. Forget teachers, forgive him, forever leaving. Love is rising, no resisting, cheeks are flushing, now you're living. Say goodbye now, no resisting, live your life now, no one's listening. Be the arts that life is breathing, be the soul the world is living. Do what you want, for you only, not for giving, just for taking, no one's listening. At the end of Lime and 10th Street, down the road that's green and winding, past the bushes, cypress thriving, past the chain link fence and driving. Farther down the road, less traveled, there you are, athleisure wear unraveled. Now I see you clear. Standing stoic blue on denim, eyes not blue but clear like heaven. You don't want to be forgotten, you just want to disappear. Don't mind me, but I got really cold, so I needed my heated blanket. And actually that screen is so distracting. Okay, this is perfect. So the next poem is Sport Cruiser. I took a flying lesson on my 33rd birthday instead of calling you or parking on the block where our old place used to be. Genesee. Pathetic, I know, but sometimes I still like to park on that street and have lunch in the car just to feel close to you. I was once in love with my life here, in that studio apartment with you. Little yellow flowers on the tops of trees as our only view. Out of the only window big enough for me to see our future through. But it turned out I was the only one who could see it. Stupid apartment complex, terrible you. You who I wait for. You, like a broken record stuck on loop. So that day on my birthday, I thought something has to change. It can't always be about waiting for you. Don't tell anyone, but part of my reasoning for taking the flight class was this idea that if I could become my own navigator, a captain of the sky, that perhaps I could stop looking for direction from you. Well, what started off as an idea on a whim has turned into something more. Too shy to explain to the owners that my first lesson was just a one-time thing. I've continued to go to classes each week at the precious little strip off of Santa Monica and Bundy, and everything was going fine. We were starting with dips and loops, and then something terrible happened. During my fourth lesson in the sky, my instructor, younger than I, but as tough as you, instructed me to do a simple maneuver. It's not that I didn't do it, but I was slow to lean the Sport Cruiser into a right-hand upward turn, scared that I would lose control of the plane. Not tactfully and not gently, the instructor shook his head and without looking at me said, "You don't trust yourself." I was horrified, feeling as though I had somehow been found out, like he knew me, how weak I was. Of course, he was only talking about my ability as a pilot in the sky, but I knew it was meant for me to hear those words. For me, they held a deeper meaning. I didn't trust myself, not just 2,500 feet above the coast of Malibu, but with anything, and I didn't trust you. I could have said something, but I was quiet, because pilots aren't like poets. They don't make metaphors between life and the sky. In the midst of this midlife meltdown navigational exercise and self-examination, I also decided to do something else I always wanted to do. Take sailing lessons in the vibrant bay of Lana Del Rey. I signed up for the class as Elizabeth Grant, and nobody blinked an eye. So why was I so sure that when I walked into the tiny shack on Bali Way, someone would say, "You're not a captain of a ship or the master of the sky"? No, the fishermen didn't care, and so neither did I. And for a brief moment, I felt more myself than ever before, letting the self-proclaimed drunkard captain's lesson wash over me like the foamy tops of the sea. Midway through, my forehead burned and my hands raw from jibing. The captain told me the most important thing I would need to know on the sea. Never run the ship into irons. That's nautical terms for not sailing the boat directly into the wind. In order to do that, though, you have to know where the wind is coming from, and you might not have time to look to the mast or up further to the weather vane, so you have to feel where the wind is coming from, on your cheeks and by the tips of the white waves, from which direction they're rolling. To do this, he gave me an exercise. He told me to close my eyes and asked me to feel on my neck which way the wind was blowing. I already knew I was going to get it wrong. "The wind is coming from everywhere. I feel it all over," I told him. "No," he said. "The wind is coming from the left, the port side." I sat waiting for him to tell me, "You don't trust yourself." Okay, jump up. Go ahead. For some reason, he needs my invitation. Yes, I'm making you watch this. It's so cute. Him building his little nest. should blow out the candle though. I'm going to say goodbye to the candle. Okay, I think, where did I leave off? But he didn't, so I said it for him. I don't trust myself. He laughed, gentler than the pilot, but still not realizing that my failure in the exercise was hitting me at a much deeper level. It's not that you don't trust yourself, he said. It's simply that you're not a captain. It isn't what you do. Then he told me he wanted me to practice every day so I would get better. Which grocery store do you go to, he asked. To the Ralph's in the Palisades, I replied. Okay. When you're in the Ralph's in the Palisades, I want you, as you're walking from your car to the store, to close your eyes and feel which way the wind is blowing. Now, I don't want you to look like a crazy person crouching in the middle of the parking lot, but everywhere you go, I want you to try and find which way the wind is coming in from, and then determine if it's from the port or starboard side. So when you're back on the boat, you'll have a better sense of it. I thought his advice was adorable. I could already picture myself in the parking lot, squinting my eyes with perfect housewives looking on. I could picture myself growing a better sense of which way the wind was blowing. And as I did, a tiny bit of deeper trust also began to grow within myself. I thought of mentioning it, but I didn't. Because captains aren't like poets. They don't make metaphors between the sea and sky. And as I thought that to myself, I realized, that's why I write. All of the circumnavigating the earth was to get back to my life. 6 trips to the moon for my poetry to arise. I'm not a captain. I'm not a pilot. I write. Okay. That was kind of hard. This part, because it stopped becoming a poem and became I don't know. What would you call that? Prose? A little short block of prose. Okay. I'm going to finish this now. Alright. Did I pace myself? I don't know. It's like 43 minutes, so we'll say yes. That was good. Good job. I have a few left to do. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this and then I'm going to come right back because I'm going to take a little smoke break. Let's get back to this. So the next one also has the original version and then the final version, which is what I will read. And this one is called Quiet Waiter, Blue Forever. You move like water, sweet baby, sweet waiter, making the night smile to no one you cater. Silent woodworker from midnight till later, my lover, my laughter, my armor, my maker. The way that I feel with you is something like aching. Inside of my stomach, the cosmos are baking. A universe hung like a mobile. The alignment of these planets unique. In me, this earth moves around the sun. No land, all sea. Water world, sun chaser, Tropic of Cancer, southern equator. I'm the crying crustacean, sunbathing on paper moon. Let's rewrite the beginning of this primordial ooze, shall we, my love? Am I being brazen for saying this year makes me feel like we could have written it better than him? But who am I? Just a girl in love, dreaming on paper, rearranging the salt for the pepper, in love with you, my quiet waiter, summer, blue, forever. Call me when you're done with work, I'll pick you up later. The darker the better, 5 after midnight, the darker the better. Okay, this next one is, my bedroom is a sacred place now. There are children at the foot of my bed. Last year when I wrote you my last letter, the beginning of my future poetry, I acknowledged who you were for the first time. I didn't call you by any other name. I let you know that I knew the true nature of your heart, that it was evil, that it convinced me that darkness is real, that the devil is a real devil, and that monsters don't always know they are monsters. But projection is an interesting thing. After you burned the house down, you tried to convince me that I was the one holding the matches. You told me that I didn't know what I had done. You said, I don't know who I am, but I do know who I am. I love rose gardens. I buy violets every time someone leaves me. I love the great sequoias of Yosemite. And if you asked my sister to describe the first thing she thinks of when she thinks of me, she would say wood smoke. I'm gentle. I'm funny when I'm drunk, though I haven't been drunk for 14 years. I go on trips to the beach with my friends who don't know that I'm crazy. I can do that. I can do anything, even leave you. Because my bedroom is a sacred place now. There are children at the foot of my bed telling me stories about the friends they pretend to hate that they will make up with tomorrow. And there are fresh cut flowers that I grew myself in vases on nightstands hand-carved by old pals from Big Sur. And the longer I stay here, the more I am sure that the more I step into becoming a poet, the less I will fall into being with you. The more I step into my poetry, the less I will fall into being with you. The more I step into my poetry, the less I will fall into being with you. The more I step into my poetry, the less I will fall into being with you. The more I step into becoming a poet, the less I will fall into bed with you. There's Lana. Okay. This one is, I didn't have it, but I love it. It says, you're only as happy as your least happy child. Let's find the next. Right. This is the next one, and it is called Happy. You thought I was rich, and I am, but not how you think. I live in a Tudor house under the freeway in Mar Vista by the beach. When you call, I take my phone outside to the picnic table that I bought from the Rose Bowl, and I listen to the rushing cars above and think about the last time you visited me and last time we made love, how the noise got louder and louder during rush hour until it sounded like the sea, and it felt like the ocean was the sky, and that I was flying because you were 2 feet taller than me, until you took me in your arms and I could touch the stars, and they all fell down around my head, and I became an angel, and you put me to bed, happy. People think that I'm rich, and I am, but not how they think. I have a truck with a gold keychain in the ignition, and on the back it says, happy, joyous, and free, happy. And when I drive, I think about the last time my friends were driving with me, how the radio was so loud that we couldn't hear the words, so we became the music, happy. They write that I'm rich, and I am, but not how they think. I have a safe I call the boyfriend box, and in it every saved receipt, every movie theater ticket, just to remind me of all the things I've loved and lost and loved again, unconditionally. You can joke that I'm rich, and I am, but not how you think. I live in a Tudor house under the freeway off of Rose Avenue, 12 blocks from the beach. And when you call, I put your sweater on and put you on speaker and chat for hours underneath the trees and think about the last time you were here lying next to me, how the noise from the cars got louder and louder during rush hour until it sounded like a river or a stream, and it felt like we were swimming, but it wasn't just a dream. We were just happy. This is called Ringtone. I put my third phone in the waistband of my leggings. Only you have this number. 6+ vibrates with your own ringtone. I smile when I hear simulated children laughing, 'cause I know it's you. It's the little things that make me smile. I keep them just for myself. I like you so much, but it makes me nervous when you don't call. Under my breath, I say, don't make me be resilient. I so want to be soft. If you let me be myself, you will be the first one who ever did. This one is called In the Flats of Melrose. What will it take for me not to feel like the train will run away with me, bound up like the sad heroine tied to the last car? What will it take for me not to need you so I can just have you for fun and for who you really are? Not you as a savior, not me as Ophelia, not us putting our faith in the public's dark art. Topanga on Sunday, 2 cats in the yard, NPR rumbling quietly, a fire in the hearth, me with a knowingness deep in my heart that nothing could stop me, no valley too far to walk through, and darkness to keep us apart, and that we don't need fighting to find resolution, that not every marriage ends in the dissolution, that I don't need you, but I want you, because you're so cool and I'm not that damaged, and you're not hell-bent on being some indie director or whatever pipe dream you and your friends are smoking, that it's enough just for us to be sitting in the flats of Melrose, my heart on fire, the tall boy cracked open. I love you, Josiah. I'm sorry I'm still broken, but I could still make you happy. Let's pour one out to knowing, not hoping. Okay, the next one is called Thanks to the Locals. I ran away from you in Lake Arrowhead. I didn't tell you where I was going. I knew I had a 24-hour grace period before you were done making your film. I went to an AA meeting, and my share read like a tale of a battered housewife. I felt everyone's eyes on me. The rehab kids in the back row stopped throwing spitballs at each other and stared at me. I fucking hate my life. I waited after the meeting in the parking lot for any of the local ladies to come up to me. Only one did, Kira. I don't really have much advice for you, she said. I was in over my head, out of my league, in the wrong place, wrong season, wrong time, wrong face, and I knew it, but I didn't know what to do. You asked me to marry you. You said your mother was dying and you couldn't fathom your life without a woman in it. I was tempted, but it didn't seem like a good enough offer. I wanted more than that, even though I've never had anything. Not one person to call if I changed my dollar in for quarters to ask what they thought about it. But there's always been just a little tiny piece of me inside the size of a small slice of angel cake that knew somewhere, somehow, that I deserved better than someone like you. So I got back into my truck in the dark, my little yellow pamphlet with 2 numbers on it that I would never call crumbled up. Kira with her local area code, and gratefully also her sponsor, Gail from Palmdale. I didn't feel better, and I didn't use the numbers, but I thought that I had been very brave, that I did the best I could, sharing in a big room, tears streaming down my face in my high school flannel, just to say, the man that I love hates me, but it would be easier to stay. As the last person's lights flooded over my windshield, the night became very quiet, and I thought, if I could go back and I end it, how would I handle driving down your street and it becoming a distant memory, not reality, no longer sweet, sweet the way it tastes in my mouth to say your name, sweet like when I was young, driving down those roads before we were done, before any big battles were lost or won, unbeknownst to everyone except for you and me, as sweet as a junkie's limited concept of love can be. I thought, because you were clean, you were a lot like me, wanting to be closer into something big and free, but some people need their secrets, and now my greatest battle will be this unchanged melody in my heart from not having you next to me. To shut the door on the past and step blindly into the abyss, no destination intact, the only direction set in the compass, to move forward. So I drove back and forth on the rim of the world highway, and the beauty of its name reminded me that I was beautiful. that some things are beautiful for no reason. Not everyone needs to pretend to love their girlfriend just because their mother is dying or because they're afraid of a change in season. Anyway, I don't have a pretty couplet to give resolution to this poem. Nothing very eloquent to say, except that I was brave and it would have been easier to stay. That was it. That was the last poem. So, not quite an hour, I don't think, but I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that that was relaxing and not too all over the place. I highly recommend at least getting the audiobook. I know with Audible and I think it was Kobo is where I got mine. If you sign up and like do a free trial, you get a free credit. I actually got the audiobook for free. I still would have paid for it because it's amazing. I would love to get it on vinyl. I think that would be so good. I definitely have another book of poems that I want to read. The poems are from Book of Longing by Leonard Cohen. That is definitely a video that I would like to make, but definitely let me know what you think. I would really like to hear from you and if you liked the video or not, because if you didn't like it, then maybe then I wouldn't bother filming that if no one would enjoy it, you know what I mean? And let me know what you think about the soft spoken, because I do not think I have very many soft spoken videos on my channel, and I don't like to pigeonhole myself, so I want to try everything, at least in the beginning. But I mean, like, you never just want to stop trying, but in the beginning, before I really figured out my niche, whatever. So thank you for watching. If you've gotten to the end, you definitely deserve a prize. Let me know what you think, especially about Lana. I could talk about Lana for hours. So I think I am going to end this one here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have been doing well. I hope that you get a great night's sleep tonight, because you deserve it. Alright. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. My hand's raw from jibing. Whatever.